In the late 1800s, the Bayash tumbled out of Romania across Central Europe after nearly 400 years of slavery. They had lost their Romani language and now spoke an archaic form of Romanian mixed with other tongues. Gone were the customs and rituals of their culture that made the Roma a distinct and vivid splash of colour across the canvas of Europe's history. They were a people without a home, a language, a culture, and their soul as a nation, so they believed, was cursed eternally. Spiritually, they adopted whatever religion was dominant, and they mixed it with witchcraft, superstition, and local folklore. By the time Nancy and I arrived among them, they were a people dispossessed spiritually, culturally bankrupt, and yet doubling their population every 25 years. Our sense was that the eternal issues were clear. This is a people who live in darkness and need to see a great light. But in the socio-political realm in Europe, there was another issue, and that is that unless there was a social transformation among the Bayash, we would see, as Cybele speaks in the Aeneid, the river Tiber foaming with much blood. In this case, it would not be the Tiber, but rather the great historic rivers of Central Europe that would flow with the blood of gypsies, despised by an ever-extreme fascist element that is emerging all across the region. We spent the early months visiting villages and making friends, home after home, family after family. Then, as we became accepted within the culture, we started to identify needs at the social level. It was obvious that the children were being neglected, and so we developed a program to get shoes on those in need who were attending school. In one case, we had to wash the feet of all the children in a whole village and then fit them with shoes. Many of the children of single-mother families could not afford to buy the books for school, and so we would cover the costs of 50% of these charges. There were many who simply did not have food, and so we would at times cook food for a whole village, or just give staples to widows and needy families. Firewood in the winters became a major issue for some of the families, and so we would seek to subsidize the heating of many homes. Clothing for the children was a regular part of our early times in the villages. We saw things that should not be seen in modern Europe, and in a decision one day we decided to knock down a small village and completely rebuild it with small but safe and stable homes. But this is just the tip of a deeper spiritual iceberg of need. We set up children's clubs and Bible studies in homes that became for a while small but lively Bible fellowships. As time has gone on, we've seen that the need is so deep, the spiritual complexity so great, that we had to strike at the very heart of the problem. One can say with confidence there is no positive spiritual authority anywhere within Bayash society. The greatest need for the eternal and earthly needs of the Bayash is to be found in this area. Simply put, we realized that we needed to bring the Bayash people under the authority of the living God through the Scriptures. We set about translating a children's Bible into Bayash, and by the last week of November we were able to take delivery of the first ever book in the Bayash language. We then put together a patchwork quilt of teams from around Croatia, the United Kingdom, the US and Austria, and over a 90-day period we were able to visit over 700 homes and individually pray and share from the children's Bible and leave a copy in each home. It is hard to explain what it is like for a people who have no books in their own language to suddenly find themselves holding in their hands a beautifully printed, full-colour book. Just for a moment, Look at some of the scenes. We had decided that we needed a full New Testament if we were going to see the Bayash brought under the authority of the Lord Jesus, and so we now have been working for over 2 years on a complete translation. Right now we have the draft New Testament complete and are now working on the editing and the checking stages of this project. The idea is to see a study Bible developed that will be easy to read with supplemental notes and pictures. Our goal is to then develop a program whereby we will have training sessions on how to study the Bible, with a Bible given to each person who attends. In broad strokes, we've seen the goal of a Bible in every Bayash home and a Bible class in every Bayash village.